Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm doing a wrap-up and just kind of going over everything that happened in March, what I read, what kind of videos were happening at that point, and just kind of taking a look back. March was a pretty special month. It is where I celebrated my 1-year anniversary being on BookTube, even though it seems like I spent a lot less time going back with it, but I celebrated that, so I did do a kind of retrospective video and did the Not a BookTube Newbie tag and did kind of those toward the beginning of the month to have some fun there. And then I also did actually surprisingly stick pretty well to my planned March TBR, probably the last month that will happen exactly the way I planned it. From what I talked about in my kind of February wrap-up and looking forward, I wanted to read 4 specific books at least. I read those 4 specific books. One of them I'm still reading now, but I had some things that ended up getting in the way and distracted me a little bit. But I did the math, and even with the 3 books I completely finished, the one I'm still reading as a filming, but that'll have done before the month of March actually ends. And the other stuff I read, I still averaged like 80 pages a day, which is pretty good considering 2 of them are really big hob books. But let's talk first about those. So first off, I finished the Farseer trilogy with Assassin's Quest, this beautiful illustrated version. I did do a video looking through these illustrated versions because I love them so much. And this was just a great ad. The Farseer trilogy, it follows Fitz, who is given up to his father's family by his maternal grandfather at a very young age, and then has to grow up living in Buckkeep and with all this royal intrigue, and slowly becomes to be used by others in different schemes. And it's kind of just the tragic story of him as he grows up, as he becomes, among other things, an assassin, and goes through lots of different personal growth and personal tragedy. Assassin's Quest was a really interesting close, probably the most unique and different way to end a trilogy that I've ever seen. It felt almost more like a book 1 because it was really Fitz finally realizing he needs to decide who he is, go find that out, and it was just great, and it really made me very excited to continue with Fitz's story. Luckily, the next book that was on the list specifically was Ship of Magic, which is not a Fitz story, but this is the Live Ship Traders trilogy, the first book here. I got the UK versions because I don't like the mass market paperback US versions of any of the Robin Hood books so far, so I didn't want to get any of those. And Ship of Magic is in the same world in the realm of the Elderlings, but takes place much further south. I just had my review come out for this one, which is pretty long as it is, so I won't spend a ton of time here. I will put out a blurb that later tonight, as when this is posted, on April 2nd at 5 p.m. Central Time, or 6 Eastern, is the live show for Ship of Magic on Megan's Reading Revelations, which I'll link down below. So definitely check that out if you want to check there, and you can check out my reviews for both Assassin's Quest and Ship of Magic on my channel. I'll link those as well. But Ship of Magic starts a new story, and it has a very, very different feel in Bingtown with this trader family as the patriarch of the family dies, and leaving his descendants in a little bit of turmoil, fighting over who will get the live ship Vivacia. But there's definitely more going on just besides the family squabbles. We also have a pirate captain looking for power, a deeper story with some sea serpents, and just a lot going on. And like I said, I talked for my video. It was almost a half hour on that one, but it was very, very good. I really enjoyed it as well. And despite the fact that those 2 books on their own are like over 1,700 pages combined, I loved it, and I am excited. I'll be reading more Hob, continuing Live Ship Traders over the next couple months with Mad Ship and Ship of Destiny. So another thing that I had read and specifically wanted to do was finish this omnibus of the Black Company with the White Rose. The White Rose is the 3rd Black Company book, the last in this omnibus that I was doing the read along with Slowly Read. Mark, that's his channel, which I'll link below as well. And it was finally giving me a good reason to keep going with these. As I mentioned before in my reviews for all of the Black Company books, I had started last year. Hadn't got around to continuing, so it was good to keep going. But White Rose is definitely another unique Black Company adventure. It really does feel like the end of the arc of the first 3 books. There's definitely some closure that happens, but another interesting foray into the world of the Black Company. We get to see a lot on the Plains of Fear, and as I mentioned in my review, wind whales, which wind whales are just pretty cool. There is some really interesting action and some of the most unique action sequences that I've seen in a book, especially a fantasy book. It was some strange stuff, but really fun. And it's definitely something I'll be continuing. I don't know, and I didn't put it on my TBR, to be fair, because I didn't know, but I don't know if I'll actually keep up with doing one per month. I do have the other omnibuses behind me on one side or the other. I can never remember. They're right there. And so I do definitely want to continue. I don't know if I will be doing the one per month just because I've already got my TBR all out of whack, even for next month. But that is definitely something that I'll be continuing as well. Now, the 4th book that I wanted to make sure I got to that was on my TBR, which I'm still currently reading as I'm filming this, is Prince of Fools by Mark Lawrence, the first book in the Red Queen's War trilogy. This is the follow-up trilogy to The Broken Empire, and it does take place in the same world in The Broken Empire. And it's such an interesting look because the character is about the polar opposite of Jorg from Broken Empire. There's a lot of humor. He doesn't take anything seriously. He's kind of like a coward and just doesn't really have any aspirations at all. And I'm like about 140 pages in, it looks like, so I'm actually almost half done with this. It's not a long book, which is why I'll finish it the next day or two and get it done before the end of the month. But I'm really enjoying it so far. It's so interesting seeing some of these same events. It definitely takes place probably toward the end of the Broken Empire trilogy, is what it sounds like from context. But seeing some of those events from a completely different viewpoint, I'm really enjoying it so far. So look forward to a review. That'll be coming out some point in April once I get that filmed. The other reviews I mentioned are, once again, all out now. Now, I mentioned that my TBR did get a little bit messed up, and that was because I started using NetGalley, and I didn't realize how much of a problem that was going to cause my TBR. I did spend some time this month reading Samek the AR. I ended up DNFing it. I don't know if I'm going to actually do a review or not as it gets closer to publication date, but I read almost half of it, and it's not bad by any means. It's just not really what I thought, but it's this kind of like ancient story of a Prince of Persia. It's adapted by the guy who made the Prince of Persia games, which I thought sounded really interesting, and then kind of translated. And so some of it's a little bit more literal, but it definitely has that feel of like an old story that's being told. It's very silly and zany, and you definitely can't overthink it because a lot of things don't make a ton of sense. But it's definitely something I think that I might have enjoyed if I would approached it differently. But I was thinking this big epic story, and this is more like, no, this is this fun, silly story. It's pretty long though, so that was the other thing. I got to the point where I couldn't spend any more time on it, and yeah, I wasn't getting through quickly. If it sounds more like this kind of ancient story of mischief and troublemaking and kind of ridiculous wars and fighting, if that sounds like your thing, I would recommend checking it out. Like I said, it wasn't bad. It just wasn't what I thought, and I didn't want to spend too much more time on it. Then something crazy happened, and I was approved for an e-arc, which from looking, there's apparently, I'm guessing many people were, but I wasn't expecting it because it's only my second one. I got approved for Shadow of the Gods. And I was so surprised at that, to get John Gwynn's new book. But I started that. I had to make myself stop. I finally, actually, because of the other one I was reading and then this one, and I have another one as well I'll be getting to hopefully sometime next month also. But because of those, I did end up finally actually getting a Kindle to make it a little bit easier. Previously, I'd been reading on my phone, and I really, really like having the actual Kindle now. So it's definitely nice, definitely nice to have instead of having to read on my phone. So I'm still kind of getting used to it. I had to stop though because I wanted to make sure I had enough time for the other things that were on my planned TBR. But since this comes out, I think May May 4th, I believe, is when it is published. I will make sure that my review is either right around that date or a little bit before. I think they said I'm allowed to post it within 2 weeks of the release date. So I'll make sure to have that review. So look forward to that. I have loved what I've read. I've read maybe a fourth of it. It's about 500 pages long, and I'm almost a fourth, or a little more than a fourth through, and I'm really enjoying it. It is a very different. It's a very similar yet very different story than Faithful and the Fallen, and I'm still actually reading. I've only read the first two Faithful and the Fallen books, and I was really enjoying those, and still looking forward to finishing. But right off the bat, just the couple of teasers before I get to the review, the prose is really improved, and he wasn't bad with Faithful and Fallen at all. I really enjoyed the books and its writing style. I've noticed improvements in prose and character descriptions. Just some of the different things that were not as strong in Faithful and the Fallen are coming out very strong here. So look for that review. Pretty excited as well. I will be doing the other e-arc I have from NetGalley is The Black Tongue Thief by Christopher Buehlman. And that comes out in, I think, mid-May. So I'll be looking to get that one knocked out sometime in early April as well, and have a review coming out probably end of the month or into May for that as well. And I'm not going to request any more e-arcs from NetGalley in the meantime, because I already have too many books to read. But I couldn't resist doing at least some of Shadow of the Gods, because I was so excited to get approved for it. So that did take up some time too. I counted that in my total counting. I guess I didn't count Samak though, so that probably did up it past 80. So this was a pretty good reading month. I had January, I was very slow. February, I was building steam, and this was a pretty good page count month. I do plan to kind of pump it up even more, just because I have a lot that I want to get to next month. Obviously, I mentioned I'm going to be continuing with Mad Ship from Live Ship Traders. I want to read, I think Wheel of Ashheim is number 2. I always get them confused, but of the Red Queen's War. I originally was planning on reading the 4th Crown of Stars. I might slow down because a couple of people on the Discord, and including Andrew's Wizardly Reads, are starting to read Crown of Stars, so I might slow down and do it more together. I'll have to see how much I want to read it, because I really do, and planned on finishing some other things as well. We'll have to see. I still want to throw in a Discworld book. I still want to throw in the next Faithful and Fallen books, but there's a ton going on being read, so we'll have to see where it ends out. Those are really the books, what I spent my actual time reading in March. So, like I said, most of those reviews at this point are out. Some are still going to be coming, and that's why I'm actually a little bit behind still right now with getting everything ready, because some of those were just a little bit slower. So I have to see if I'm able to stick at least somewhat to my April TBR. It's not looking like it's going to be that great at this point. Also, of course, added Legend, which is the channel buddy redoing with Andrew's Wizardly Reads. That at least is a short book. I think it's similar in length to Prince of Fools, so not that long. So it's nice. I hadn't read a short book in a while. The closest thing is Black Company. Those weren't terribly long either. But just the short books are really nice after you read a 900-page book. Even if it is Robin Hobb and fantastic, it's just nice to have a little bit of a breather. So it's good to throw some short ones in. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened for the month of March. I'm trying to get better at actually doing these recaps to kind of talk through. Once again, any of the reviews I talked about that I mentioned are out. You can check out on my channel, and I'll try to link to the videos that are coming. More will be coming, of course. Alright, so at this point, if you've made it to the end of the video, it's the time you've probably been waiting for, and that is the giveaway. And so, in this video, I'm announcing a giveaway for The Blade itself, the first book in the First Law. So this is actually the only one of the First Law books I bought new. I got really lucky at my used bookstore. So it's my copy that I have. This is one that I did really enjoy, the First Law trilogy overall. I liked it, and some of the standalones that were hit and miss for me, but I'm parting ways with my copy, and so I decided to do a giveaway for this since it's in good condition, and I know this is a series a lot of people are still wanting to try. So if you would like this book, there's just a couple things you have to do. 1, like the video. 2, comment down and let me know that you would like this book, and then I will randomly pick a winner using random.org out of those that have entered. You will need to join the Discord for me to contact you as well if you are the winner. So I'll if you're not in the Discord already and you happen to win, I'll comment and just let you know to join. That way we can correspond and get your contact information and send you the blade itself. So if you would like this lovely copy of the blade itself, make sure to like the video, make sure to comment and let me know, and join the Discord anyway and have a chat with us for it. So let me know, what did you read during the month of March in the comments? Anything super interesting or good that you want to tell me about with it? Did you read any of the same things that I did? And what are you looking forward to reading in April? I would love to hear. If you want to join the discussion, otherwise too, check the link down below for the Discord and hop down there. We're always talking about books, other things too, but always books. So there's some discussion going there pretty much at all times. Don't forget to give the video a like if you enjoyed it, and if you're excited to see more of my content, including the books that I told you to look forward to, make sure to subscribe.